My goal here is simple. Funner for everyone.
Hey, Jane, you having fun?
Woo!
Is that legal?
Because around here, funner is a state of mind.
All right, what is going on, Laker fans? What is going on? Thank you very much for tuning in. Little Lakers Talk Daily action. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Quick message, and thank you to one of our partners, Harris Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harris Resort SoCal, which, by the way, only 2 hours away from downtown LA. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrissocal.com. I could speak firsthand. Been to Harris SoCal a couple different times. Great place for a little staycation action. Thank you to our partnership here with Harris Resort SoCal. Lakers got the Mavs a little bit later tonight. Tough schedule coming up for the Lakers. Second half of the season starting. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time in today's episode talking about LeBron, talking about something that Zach Lowe of ESPN said. I want to read, and we've kind of got some hints from LeBron James about his future with the Lakers or his dissatisfaction of losing, that what he's hoping to accomplish for the rest of his career. So let me read this off here from Zach Lowe. I keep hearing he wants to stay with the Lakers. He wants to finish his career with the Lakers. His comments, though, should be interpreted as his patience is not infinite. And if this is just a continued morass of losing, maybe that changes. But if you force me to bet, I'd still bet on him finishing his career with the Lakers, and I feel pretty confident in that. Okay, so I'm going to actually throw this one out to Laker fans. What do you want the future of LeBron James to be with this organization? Do you want LeBron until his career ends? You want Los Angeles to be his last stop? Or do you think that it's in best interest of both of these parties, the Lakers and LeBron, that after this year to maybe look at other options? We've heard this before, and I'll just clarify it here real quick. LeBron cannot be traded this year. So the only way LeBron's leaving the Lakers is if after this season he requests a trade or something along those lines. But he cannot. I think the earliest is July 1st. So I'll tell you guys this. This is kind of how I feel about LeBron right now with the Lakers. I want to see the Lakers compete. Of course, LeBron James wants to be. I was a fan of when LeBron went out there and kind of called out, whether he's calling out the organization, the front office, or whatever, he's calling out nobody. But he's letting you know, look, these are my goals for the rest of my career. This was a couple weeks ago now. He said, I'm a winner and I want to win. I want to win and give myself a chance to win and still compete for championships. You guys remember when he had this quote, was during one of the postgame shows. I know it takes steps to get there, but once you get there, know how to get there. Playing basketball at this level, just to be playing basketball, is not in my DNA. It's not in my DNA anymore. We'll see what happens and see how fresh my mind stays over the next couple of years. So the reason why I want to read those quotes, because here's my thoughts on LeBron James and his future with the Los Angeles Lakers. I want the Lakers to compete as well, as does every Laker fan. Now the question is how do you get there? Question is, how do you put this organization back in place to compete for an NBA championship? I like when players of this magnitude have comments like this. And I don't really kind of disagree that much with Zach Lowe on what he thinks the future of LeBron is going to be, here, that he's probably going to be a Los Angeles Laker. He moved his family out here. He's obviously, this is his roots now. And I think he doesn't have the pressure on the Laker fan base because he did win the Lakers an NBA championship. But I do believe it's incredibly important to get Bron in the playoffs, get AD in the playoffs. And I kind of have talked a little bit about this before in some of my other videos. That, I think, is everything. You got to get those dudes back in the playoffs. If the goal is, and you don't feel like you have a path to compete for an NBA championship, or at least get into the postseason, and let's see Bron, who's got ridiculous numbers this year, AD, that when he is healthy, I know it's a big if, but when he is healthy, he's one of the top players in the NBA. It's everything to get them in the postseason. For me, I think this year will determine a lot of what the future should be and probably will be for the Lakers. And will be for LeBron James. If the Lakers don't make the playoffs this year, and, Bron is sitting around and the offseason comes, and he's looking at this roster and saying to himself, I don't think I could compete for an NBA championship. I don't think I could really even be a part of the playoff picture, a guaranteed playoff spot. I don't know how much that changes his view on the Lakers and the organization if he wants to be here long term. I don't know if that kind of speeds up the process of, guys, they won a championship, LeBron and AD did. It's just not in the cards for it to happen again. That's why I think the remainder of this year is critical. It's important. There's a ton of curiosity. I was doing this with Travis a little bit earlier in our show today. I was saying, hey, can they go 24-17 in the final 41 games, 7 games over 500? I think they can. I mean, they went through a stretch after they started 2-10. They were 17-11. They lost this last one against Denver, so they're 17-12 now. I actually have hope for the rest of the season. I'm optimistic that this season still has an opportunity to be a good season for the Lakers. And then whatever, would happen in the playoffs happens. I still think there's hope that they can make some type of a move. My only thing is, if you're not competing and if you're not, using every asset that you have to try to compete for a championship, then what's the point of having LeBron James and Anthony Davis on this roster? Those two players are not in the league to just kind of hang around. If you're going through years where you're not making the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs last year, if they didn't make the playoffs again this year, isn't that 2 years in a row where you're basically, the players and the roster is telling you that you're not a playoff team? Don't you just naturally start a rebuilding process? And don't you just naturally say to yourself, okay, I think that chapter is closed? So I'm curious to see what happens the remainder of this season. And like I said, I do think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. I do think that front office is going to do everything they can to make sure that there is a playoff run this year. But if all that doesn't happen and they don't make the playoffs again, and it's 2 years in a row without making the playoffs, and it's Bron getting older, it's AD maybe just not having, you don't know what to expect every single year of how many games he's actually going to play. I think that storyline in the summer becomes a lot different. And I think for Bron, who's had very, very strong quotes these last couple of weeks, the guy obviously wants to win. Is he also willing to stick around in LA if he doesn't think that he can compete? Your comments below, Laker fans. I'd love to know, get your opinion on this, get your thoughts. Is the vision long-term over these next couple of years, do you still want to see Bron and Anthony Davis together? Do you still want to see that all these decisions are kind of catered around LeBron? And the only reason why I would say yes to that is, does he give you the best chance to make the postseason and compete in a playoff run? In my opinion, that answer is yes. But I also am very curious to see how the rest of this year pans out. If they go below 500 in these last 41 games and they don't make the playoffs again, maybe these last 2 years should be telling us something even more important. Quick shout out here, quick word from the Riverside County Sheriff Department, who, by the way, is hiring for 911 dispatchers, deputy sheriff, correctional deputies, and other support services. Apply online today at joinrsd.org. Quick word from the Riverside County Sheriff Department.
I'm Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. Are you satisfied with a job, or are you looking for an exciting career? If you think you have what it takes, I have a tan and green uniform with your name on it. Come and get it.
Okay, thank you to their partnership as well. Lakers taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Lakers taking on Luka a little bit later today. But appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll get back with you guys soon.